Good afternoon, troops. This is Rito's Heroes and Generals Devstream number 11, live from Copenhagen. Today we're going to be 3 people on board. There's Rito Slayer, everybody knows. Rito Red Bjarne, the game director.
Hello.
This is Ask Rito Stenum.
Hi guys.
And I'm Rito Gargamel. And today we will be talking about some community stuff. There's been a lot of fun community action recently, and we have a special event coming next week. Also, we'll be talking a little bit about limited supply and some more surprises later on. I guess we might as well start with the community activities. There's been a screenshot contest organized by Westwick, one of our players, and we have some winners. Actually, we have a winner and a few runner-ups to show you. We've got a bunch of files there, and it's in the folder.
Oh,
if you want.
okay.
I'm gonna grab it from the folder. If I am not mistaken, the winner is that one. Yeah, Eagle 1928 with this action screenshot with people like the Jeep pileups. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Oh wait, you started.
Stop it! No, you're running out.
No,
that's ruined.
No.
Okay.
No, we said no more glitches. No more.
We live off the glitches.
Yeah. Okay. Can we full screen it?
Yeah.
Here we. Oh, where did it go? Den der? Ja,
no, that's something else.
Here we go.
Full screen.
So here we go.
No, not that. That's not full screen.
It's slideshow.
That's the slideshow.
The slideshow.
But there's only one.
Yeah. No. It's going to change automatically.
9.
Just full screen it.
9.
Damn it.
Damn you.
9.
That's fine.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. So
no, it's
let's look at the other ones. There's a few. We can use the arrows. The keyboard arrows. No, these ones. They work too. This is from Chromoplast. This was consensual. By the way, both players agreed to do that.
No griefing.
That's not griefing. Players agreed
that's
to
important,
do that.
guys.
No, it is.
It's consensual.
So
they try to
Pershing balancing
make more tanks.
Fornicating tanks.
Oh, actually, no, but that's more like a circus.
It's cheating with the resources here.
Hey, look at this one.
Cheating on resources.
No, you shouldn't.
Look at the name. Oh, you recognize that?
Okay.
That's
burning.
Oh fuck. That's Jacob crashing and burning. But
no,
it's
I actually remember that one.
Tell people.
A few weeks ago when I was playing, I was obviously playing as a pilot, and I was trying to desperately shoot down one of the paratrooper planes. But I just kept getting shot down. I couldn't figure out why the fuck was I getting shot down all the time. This is why. Like how many? Like 5 or 6 messages on my tail.
Well,
I think I have number 7.
You have your name tag going against you. So
big red flag. Kill this guy.
Yeah.
And what about the next one? That one. That's how.
What is
they're trying to
a trend here? What's up with the?
They're trying to make babies.
Light armor.
This is
is that something after the resource restriction? They're trying to go around it or something.
Yeah, creating a hybrid.
It's a Pershtiger.
Taixing.
So. Next one,
Chinese faction.
Oh, wait, we have to say who took those. That was NATO Republic. The one before was Martin 551. Martin. It's Martin. That's the Dutch spelling, isn't it?
Martin.
And the one before?
Probably Dutch for Martin. The one before is.
And then that one that's Chromoplast. Yes. But if you go forward. And that one's interesting. It's a series, so it's Risinek, trying to climb to the top of the church with a motorcycle.
Wow,
it's another trend that people have to. Yeah, that one is really and you can. It's
nice
really.
frame.
I tried it. I just tried it just before. It's really hard.
Yeah, okay.
Because
even more hard.
And he got there. He got there, and then he wanted to get on the roof. He says, and he couldn't make it from there. I'm not sure if this is because it's too narrow. Or, but this guy, that's the same guy. That's the same guy.
The same guy here.
He took a bike to the attic, but the motorcycle. I mean, if somebody
it's
can get it to the roof
with the sidecar, though, is it?
With the sidecar, I would doubt
That would be a challenge.
Yeah, that's the challenge. Yeah.
So I think that's all for the. Do we have any more? What's the next? Oh, that no, that's not.
Whoa!
That one is pretty nice, actually.
It's a beer commercial. Not really.
It's a death commercial. So,
congratulations
to Eagle 1928. I think that was the name of the winner. You see it there, actually. There's a link. There's a forum thread where they oh, that's true. There's a video winner and a screenshot winner. So we're going to show that one too.
We're gonna just,
yeah, that one we got sound on that one. I'm looking at Mr. Tech here. Yep.
Go.
And I would click on the YouTube thing. So no, but to watch it on.
An army is a team.
So I think he put a speech
This individuality stuff about the
General
crap.
Patton on top of that one.
All this stuff
we don't
you've
hear it,
heard
but,
about America not wanting to
players
fight,
hear it.
wanting to stay out of the war. There's a lot of horse down.
It's all
Americans traditionally
vintage colors.
love to fight. All real Americans
that's the Instagram
love.
photo.
But he's pretty good because I mean he's holding that
When you were a kid,
point with
all admired
very few
champion
bullets.
marble shooter, the fastest runner, big league ball players, the toughest boxer.
But the good part is when
Americans
well, I'm not gonna say.
and will not tolerate a
Spoiler.
Americans play to win all the time. I wouldn't give a hoot in hell for a man who lost and laughed. Now,
There you go.
some of you boys, I know, are wondering whether or not
Didn't see him. Didn't see him.
The turret is
so-
turning too slowly.
Ta-da.
I can assure you
But
that you will all do your
he
duty.
couldn't make it out in time.
Hero pays the
Aw.
ultimate sacrifice.
True heroes die in combat, right?
Yep. You have to take one from
Brilliant.
team.
Yeah.
So, this being said, we can move on, I think, to the reason why we brought you here, I think. Wait. But first of all, actually, not first of all. This is totally where we're at now. You have, I think, some graphs to show us.
A quick introduction. I'm one of the server guys doing the Backend, the strategy game, and the war server we call it here. And maybe I should just start by showing the graphs. We hear a lot from you players that are we aware that something is going on the servers? Are we aware that resources might be low and stuff like that? Especially after we introduced the limited resources and the queuing of resources. So yeah, the quick answer to the question is that yes, we are aware, and one of the reasons why we are aware is that we have this tool that we use to monitor different things about the war, about the players, and about the servers. If I start with what I think might be interesting, we could change this to a larger period. This is the hosting center load across all the action servers across the world. Once it loads up, I can show you. Yeah, so this is a time period of 4 days, and as you can see, we have hosting centers on different hosting center providers.
Different parts of the world, right?
Different parts of the world, yeah. As you can see, we have one in Moscow, Sydney, Virginia, Tokyo, California, Moscow. No, that's old. We don't use that anymore. And Rotterdam, which is the European servers, and Sao Paulo. And as you can see, it's pretty well distributed, the load, obviously in different time periods across the well.
It seems like the Moscow service is...
yeah, it's pretty well visited, yeah. Okay. And the European, well, this is a graph going from 0 to 100%, so it's not really showing how many players, but just that we use this to monitor if we're coming close to a limit.
Is the processing power?
To the capacity of what the hosting center can provide. So if we were to hit 100%, we would just rent some more servers and put up some more action games. But yeah, that it's maybe more interesting for us than it is for you. This is the players in a war, the ongoing war. As you can see, we peak around just below 9,000 players.
This is concurrent players, right? This is like at the same time, and not during the day.
No, we have many players coming and going. And one that might be interesting is the faction difference. It has been more problematic than it is right now. Right now there is 200 more players on the German side, at least in some periods, some times of day is an overpopulated German side.
But then again, you have to compare that to like 9,000 players.
Yeah.
So it's down into a percentage or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that problematic. It was a bit worse earlier on.
There's a player asking actually, less Germans, how is that possible? But
yeah,
I mean, on this graph, like this one we're seeing now, the one at the bottom, that's... Yeah. The blue part is on top of the red. Is not they don't overlap, right?
This is this is a stacked graph. It's just to show that the total amount is, for instance, the last peak was just below 6,000 online in the action game at once, like running in action games. And the difference between the graphs is how many of the blue one is the American online, and the second one is German online. The red one, and stacked together is the total amount. Yeah,
and we can see like the time is it's server time, isn't it?
It's our time.
It's our time. Yeah. It's Central European time. So when it's 4 in the morning here, then suddenly there's more allied players. I guess it's Australia playing or America.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. We have players around the world, and maybe it's Danes setting up and playing early in the morning. We can't tell from this graph. Yeah.
But there's some time periods where there's more of one faction.
Yeah. Getting back to first I want to show this is one thing we had that was quite problematic at one point. The waiting times in the Matchmaker. We heard reports that that players were waiting for way too long, and so we did this graph. And as you can see, actually the Tier 2 training mission waiting times were quite problematic a couple of days ago until Henning did a fix which introduced more training missions. And as you can see, if we had a longer time span before this, it was way too high. But right now it's pretty decent. This is minutes. Below 0 is waiting times for Germans, and above 0 is waiting times for US.
So basically, most of them seems to be within like a 5-minute waiting.
Yeah. And the problematic ones are usually heavy armor, medium armor. So yeah, we're looking at it and we're trying to figure out what we can do. And basically, for campaign missions, the waiting times can be much larger. and that's why we have the training missions, because campaign missions are on the map. We can't do anything to spawn more. We can just try to
we would more. Like it would sort of like negate the whole idea of the game if we had to like spawn more missions or whatever. So it's obviously the campaign missions are like a bit difficult. I could say like sometimes you should expect waiting times just simply because if there's no generals using medium armor, then there won't be any missions, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, and back to the stuff I used to introduce the graph. We did the limited resources recently, and what we introduced was stockpiles for each faction. That is the source of all the resources going into the strategy game. As you can see, we've been tweaking the stockpile numbers. Some of you actually noticed while we were doing it a couple of days ago. And this is what it looked like before. Like a couple of days ago, the basically limited resource was just a name, because 140,000 or 140,000.
It's infantry.
Yeah, infantry is way too much. It's not limited enough. So we did this graph. We realized that we had to change numbers, and we did that. The numbers aren't exact, and it's a hard problem, because the amount of players online using the resources is factoring in as well. So we can't hit a specific number and make it work for all times a day. So
because every time there's a new war, right? Every time there's a new war, the first deploy is a huge consumption of resources.
Yeah, and we introduced a stockpile that was like set to a fixed number at the start of the war, and that goes down. But yeah, we try to look at the numbers and tweak where we can see that we need to tweak. So expect the numbers to change. We hope we can hit something that makes sense for both factions, and that makes the strategy game fun.
Yeah. Also, we're trying to get the numbers low enough so you actually run into the problem of lacking resources in certain situations, which should make the strategy game a little bit more interesting to play.
And last off is the current resources on the map that's actually deployed for each faction. As we can see, if we took a look at the US resources, it's basically mostly infantry, but that's the largest teams as well. And as you might have noticed, we lowered the price, right, on heavy armor.
Yeah, and also on general on the armor. Because the thought that the sort of like the difference was too high, so we're trying to sort of like lower it to get closer to the fact that the risk reward scenario that we'd like to put into the game right now is just like the reward for fielding heavy armor wasn't just good enough to actually run the risk of getting it destroyed. So we're gonna lower the risk of the heavy and medium armor. And actually, that we also lowered on the price on the light armor, and also on the APCs and the recon vehicles. Basically, all vehicles have been lowered.
The main problem is also you could notice it from the waiting times for the heavy armor campaign missions, that there aren't that many assault teams using heavy armor in the strategy game. And basically, we need to figure out how to get more in without having them being an unlimited resource.
But one of the other buttons we are discussing tweaking is actually making them better in the action game, to make them more preferable and to make them harder to destroy, which also adds value to the heavy armor and to the medium armor, obviously, but mostly for the heavy armor.
Yeah, it's a fine line between basically the tanks being too easy to kill or too hard to kill.
But then again, I think in the campaign mission it doesn't really make that much of a difference, because those missions are uneven anyway. So it's more like obviously it cannot be like an atomic bomb that you just destroy everything. But I think it's fine that the heavy armor is hard to kill, we should put in some limits elsewhere, like time delay in spawn and stuff like that, rather than just making it easy to kill. So that's what we are discussing.
There's Robotron is drawing my attention to what one of the players is saying. I'm going to quote him, trying to follow his own logic here. Ralph Galland is saying that deploying tanks, especially the more pricey ones, it makes infantry grow dollar signs in their eyes, not fear. Yeah. So basically, and he's saying that the reward is related directly to the price. So when the cost to field goes down, the reward for destroying them goes down. And it's true, people don't actually kind of realize that aspect of it also. Is that when you destroy a tank, the war funds that you will basically score for your... So if the war funds to deploy them go down, then of course the reward for destroying them goes down. So it's kind of tied together. I'm not sure everybody kind of looks at it that way, but I mean the generals certainly do. That's And am I getting a new transmission?
It's number tweaking is hard, and we know that tweaking a price is affecting somewhere probably a lot in the game, and so we have to find the right balance. But yeah, it's.
And which, by the way, brings me to I wanted to point that out earlier. One of the things that we changed recently is that we've been adding more basically back-end functionality so that we can do that kind of adjustments, right? It's you can maybe say more about that.
The number changing scheme we have going on was quite cumbersome. We're trying to make it easier for ourselves to tweak the numbers and do it in a way where we can immediately see the effects. If not immediately, then as soon as possible.
But what I meant by that is also that you did that without redeploying, didn't you?
Yeah.
You can do that while the game is live, and you can just change the numbers without stopping everything. And this is new.
That's new. Yeah,
so it's worth mentioning.
Numbers carry over to the next war. At least not the actual numbers of resources available, but the beginning stockpile numbers carry over. So we've made it easier to tweak the numbers, and that's important because we could see that we needed to change the numbers more frequently than we did. The prices still has to be tweaked while the servers are down, but maybe some time in the future we can get around to making that possible as well.
Robotron is telling me stuff, but I think we already talked about it, so we're going to move on to... I think we wanted to look at... there's another thing we're collecting data on. I think we wanted to have a quick word on it. We mentioned it, I think, briefly, that we're collecting data for skill-based matchmaking.
Oh yeah,
right. And like maybe we can mention.
I think we mentioned it at some point, but we started to put in some more clever ways of matchmaking players by using their abilities in the actual action game. But we are sort of like that. We haven't put it on in the front end yet. Just in order for us to see how it affects the game before we actually show the numbers or show some sort of like where are your current skill as a player, because that could actually affect the the whole exercise here. So if you have experienced that you will get matchmaked more in line with other players now, that's nice. If you don't, then it doesn't really work. But I think we actually started, the guys we told it to are saying that they start to experience that they actually find the matches more balanced. In the other players you're not going to get completely run over by good players, and good players are actually getting matched together. It's a fairly complex thing to do because we have many different classes and different parameters in the game, and different parameters, different playing styles affect your all the parameters we collect, obviously. So we're still experimenting with it, and obviously we're not going to tell you anything about how we do it because we don't want you to start manipulating the system and playing to the strengths and weaknesses in it. So that's just going to be for us alone.
Yeah.
So, but at some point
I heard it's working. The guy who's making the matchmaker is actually. He came around yesterday and told me that now he doesn't get killed all the time when he's playing. So it should be working at least for not so well trained players. Yeah.
I think it's great because it actually at some point we might actually just show the pure skill score on the screen so the player can see what is my skill. But I think we're not going to reveal how we come up with that number.
Yeah.
Just in order to have people play the way they play and not trying to exploit the system.
To tear up or something.
Yeah. So this being said, I think should we move on to questions? Yeah, might as well. We got some questions from the forums, and little framing problem here.
Yeah, cozy.
Okay. So we're going to be taking some questions from the forum, and later on I'll be taking questions directly from the chat. So a question from ex-sheriff, lots of X's. Will the tank crewmen automatically unlock pistols on a certain rank, just like pilots?
Maybe. We didn't really find it necessary, but is that hard to unlock a pistol?
I think you have to get fairly high on the tactical ribbon to unlock the pistol, if I'm not mistaken.
We could consider it putting in some. It could be, for example, unlocked by reaching an officer rank on the tankers. Then you could be like awarded a pistol or something like that. It's not a bad idea.
And King Fu Julian is asking when can more detail be expected on the US paratrooper plane?
Not anytime soon, I guess. We have plenty of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So more details. Does he mean the insides or?
No, he means the outside. I think the German paratrooper plane has a kind of slightly nicer decals.
At the rate they get shut down at the moment, might be.
Not even have time to look at them.
No.
It's like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah. Flames and smoke.
So they want to be able to actually put decals on the paratrooper planes.
But it's just me. I mean, that's just my perception. When people say that the devs have a favorite faction, I've always said no, that's not true. But when it comes to the vehicles and making them look cool, I think there's some guy who likes the Germans more.
I'm
just saying.
That's hard to say because aren't they just. They look cooler to look at.
Cool. That might be it, yeah.
But, okay.
It's the same thing with the old, the first 3 Star Wars movies that obviously borrow heavily on these differences between the allies are more like soft and rounded and the evil guys are completely angling and grey and black and white.
And the very first one, episode 4, the Imperials still have like sideburns, and when they stand at attention, it's kind of like relaxed. It's like, and the second one they changed the. You'll notice it's much more like. The Empire Strikes Back is like everybody's kind of. They look like they're stressed out, and
the stormtroopers even have MT-43s.
Aren't they like everything is kind of borrowed?
Yeah. Except that Han Solo have a Mauser. That's a bit odd, but then again, they just chose the cool weapon to go. German.
Heroes and General Akbar.
But also like uniforms and stuff, when you have Hugo Boss to design your uniforms, obviously they are going to look pretty cool. That's true.
Jeremy 12 is asking, is it being considered to give mines and grenades a customizable ammo quantity?
Say again? Do you mean so they can choose to just lower and only have one grenade?
Yeah, for example.
Yes, I can't really remember why we haven't put that in yet. But I think it's something that I don't know.
Yeah, because you do it with the rifles all the time. So why not say
2 points? And so I'll bring that back to the weapons guys and see if we can do something. Because it would make sense to just have one grenade, for example.
Yeah.
Next question, I would say. Oh, wait. I'm told to look at the chat. King Fu Julian is saying that the AT transport in Star Wars AT-AT looks like an A7V with legs. You know what that means? I'm not sure the A7V, which one is that? Is that a German one?
I have no idea.
We'll look it up. Or you can look it up and we'll show it. And
I'll Google that one.
Yeah, Google it. And Google is brought to you by Google.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's show it.
Instantly.
Totally. If it's not exactly the same thing. Votan.
It's not
totally.
exactly aerodynamic in any way. Big metal box with gun.
So when can we expect that one?
I like the skull is happy.
Yeah. A smiley face skull. Yeah. Weird.
There's a good one for, or maybe we could actually, we'll bring it up and then we could answer it more in detail later. Como1 is asking, could you explain the difference between, could you explain the armor system for tanks? Can you explain the difference between armor and hit points? And I think we should. But you
should probably do that as a whole feature.
You made a note next to the question. You said we should totally.
But generally, I can say that the armor obviously has something to do with penetration, and the hit points is just by how much power does it take to kill a tank in pure explosion power. The tanks have a lot of hit points.
Yeah.
But the armor stuff is generally we have a simplified model that's where we can tell the engine which parts of the tank have different depth or different thicknesses of armor, and that's also used to calculate the penetration and ricochet and all that stuff. But I think we should probably do a whole how the armor model works.
Yeah. If you're curious right now, you can go on the blog, on the news blog. We have I made an old post that's still valid. Yeah. I think we showed it not too long ago. If you just look for armor model, and you'll find it. Model. That one. Yeah. Or that one exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's basically the armor model, not the hit points.
Yeah, it doesn't explain the hit points.
A health bar. So if you take 50% damage because the armor model told you to take that damage, you lose half your hit points. So that's basically it. But it might be more complicated. I probably should just.
I think this one is just mostly if you hit or you don't.
Yeah.
And then how much damage is done? I think there's a whole other system for it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about it next time when we have the accurate information for it. There's a Pepuli asking if you are planning on diversifying sounds for weapons, as most weapon sounds are now being recycled.
We are actually, as we speak, the weapon sounds are being worked on, so you should expect updated weapon sounds at some point, not in the next build, I guess, I don't know, but I have to always say that it's something we're working on, and I think it was last time I showed the structure of when we create a feature and when it actually hits live. So when I'm telling you that we're working on it, that doesn't mean that we can release it next week. It has to go through QA.
Was it
and all that stuff.
Number 9, I think? Yeah, if you go and look for Devstream number 9, that's I think when you showed the process or how the features move from being worked on to being tested to
so basically when
released.
I say we're working on it, we are working on the lower level on the feature streams and not directly on the, so we're not completely close to live, so it will take some weeks before it actually gets onto the live server.
There's another question here about Oh, well, actually, no, it's different. Will there be an option to turn off the hint messages in game? Asks Herian 1987.
Yeah, I
think he means the hit messages, right?
The hint? No, he says the hint messages, as in press control to take cover and all that.
Oh, okay.
So the answer.
Yeah, when we come around to it, to getting an overhaul on the menus, it's not really a problem to switch it off. It's just something that we need to sort of like put into a larger, doing some stuff on the menus feature.
I think the menus are going to be overhauled anyway.
Yeah,
because I mean, when you press escape, you have stuff that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, at that point we've got to stick in some more stuff so we can switch off stuff. Apparently, a lot of players want to switch off stuff on the UI, on the front end, on the GUI, for various reasons. So.
And I have another question from the same guy, Herian 1987. Does the war over screen only contain campaign information or also training mission information? And will this ever be changed?
It only shows what the campaign mission has spent. We have been working on the war over screen, and we have been tweaking because there was an error in it at one point where it just used completely random numbers, so we took a look at it some time ago. But yeah, it basically it could use some more information. We have the systems in place to collect that information, but to actually show it would. Yeah, we would need to fit that in at some point. But yeah, no, the training missions are not included, and yes, it is the correct numbers.
Yeah. And that's a good one from Westwick. How is the progress on the map which was shown in the Devstream a few weeks ago?
I have been doing other things, so not much. I've been working a little bit on some textures for some trees, trying to do some new stuff.
Pretty trees?
Yeah, but right now I'm working on something else.
Another map?
Something more important came up.
And there's a question also from Pitbull 1973. Are there additional filters planned for the matchmaker to find missions, such as excluding certain maps or excluding already started missions, stuff like that?
We have been talking about filters. We're redoing the mission browser. Well, we're not redoing it. We're just redoing the way we show the numbers, like backend wise, and filters may come in at one point. We aren't doing it right now. It would be nice, especially if you want to find and play a specific map. We're talking about it internally, but we haven't been around to doing it yet. It's somewhere in the future. We are going to do it at one point, but it's not planned yet.
That's pretty cool. I guess we're done with the forum questions for now. There was a video I wanted to show, yes. Which is in the... That's awesome. It's called Garant Precision.
Garant Precision.
His name, you know, the guy who made it, he was
French.
He was French Canadian. Actually, stop it. Yeah, his name was Jean Garant. He changed it to John Garant, which is basically spelled the same. In this video, I wanted just to show weapon precision, how it works. Because last week I just said a few words about how you sometimes when you're in hip fire you don't always hit what you think you're going to hit. But I showed basically a submachine gun being fired at fairly close range. Now I'm going to show which is different. The Garand, it's fairly accurate, but it's not as precise as a bolt action rifle. And the reason is that semi-auto rifles use a mechanism that kind of causes the weapon to have more recoil, basically. Or is it? It's not more recoil. It's less stability, right?
It's a lot of factors, including the animation of the weapon and everything that actually produces the inaccuracy.
But anyway, in Hipfire you can see that the crosshairs are not. They're basically the lines in the crosshairs are not completely touching, and that's in our interface means that the space in between those crosshairs is the inaccuracy basically that you can expect. So what I did is I shot a few bullets through that window at the other side of the bridge, and you can play it. So and I enabled this. There's a debug function which shows the projectile path. So I'm trying as much as possible to hit that little, it's almost just a few pixels wide, and you see that window on that house. So I shot at it a few times and I took a Jeep. So you really, it's far enough that you have to drive there, So, and then at the other end, all of a sudden, all these lines that looked very parallel, now you see where the bullets ended, and some of them, it looks a bit weird from this angle, but you'll see that it makes sense on the other side. So yeah, that's where I shot from, and then we're looking at, so some bullets just got stopped by the roof and completely missed the window, and others went straight through the window, out the other window at the back of the room, and another one got lodged in the wall, in the back wall of the house. So and I was aiming fairly accurately. I mean, then again, at that distance, but so the same principle is applies to most weapons, and if you're firing automatic weapons, basically the cone, the imprecision is bigger. And I think this also, it still applies when you're in precision mode, aren't you? Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just lowered a lot.
It's lowered, but it's still a little bit. So I think we made the point. But I guess if you're curious about some of that stuff, I can try to make a few more of these demonstrations. We're not going to show everything that that goes on in the debug, but I think that one's fairly interesting. So this being said, I think we can take a few questions from the chat. Mm-hmm. The Robotron was just mentioning that it's rather hard to see the crosshairs if you're. Well, I mean, you have to really put the window in full screen. Yeah. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the crosshairs. It's a very small detail in the. Oh, there's one other thing is that you can see that when I move, the crosshairs are kind of they spread apart. That's also an indication that I don't know if you every time a shot is fired, also the crosshairs just open up like that. So
and obviously crouching and proning is something that affects these things as well. And the weapon sway we have I think we talked about that a few times ago, where you have the movement of the gun. That's actually something that affects the precision as well, or the accuracy.
So I'm going to move on to the questions in the chat here. Now there's a lot of stuff happening. Let me find one. I guess we can answer that one. It gets asked fairly often, but what happened to the interdiction mission that was mentioned on the blogs?
The interdiction mission.
Yeah, what is it? First of all,
I don't know. It's a long time since we actually tested it, but we got fairly far with it at some point. It's the interdiction mission is a mission that where you are supposed to spot the enemy's resources on the campaign map and send planes to intercept them and destroy them. So it's basically it's a mission where you, as a pilot, try to bomb a train that's moving through the map. If the train goes through the map, then obviously resources are passed through. If you destroy the train, some resources are deducted from the transport of resources on the map. And we actually got pretty far with it. We had the train running, and we had some AA guns on the train that could shoot at the planes. But we didn't get that far. So, but it's something that we would at least I would really like to revisit that mission at some point as well, because it actually has this single player co-op type gameplay in it that's really nice.
I have another question then for I guess I don't know if you can answer that one. Lieutenant Aldo Rain is asking, why can't my character walk downstairs and pull a trigger at the same time? I think he means that he's got a hard time, I guess if you were walking down a flight of stairs, can you fire? I don't remember. It's never been a problem.
I think it depends on how fast you walk, what kind of weapon you're trying to shoot.
Yeah. But
there might be some detection of where you are, if you are on the ground or not. That's maybe not entirely accurate. I'll pass that question on to the action game guys.
Yeah,
they can answer it.
We should bring them here by force.
Yeah, at some point.
There's Wilhelm Vett from the 5th Panzer Division asking, do you have any more comments on the upcoming command structure feature? How will it work with the limited supply?
Not really. It's the actual command structure is a bit out in the future. It goes together with the clan features and stuff like that. So it's still something that's being worked on on the design level.
Mm-hmm. I have a good one here. The Mad Molar is asking, why do we still have a deploy timer after we've been in queue, waiting for comrades to fall? Because the other team has been depleted, basically.
It's the reason is that if you could spawn instantly, then your team would have an unfair advantage, because not only are you the reason the deploy timer is there is that we have to limit it to being only, for example, 18 versus 18, and if you're 20 on your faction, then you can only spawn 18. So if you're the 19th person and there's 18 people alive, then you wait until one dies. The problem is, if we spawn the guy right after he has fallen, and there is no delay, then basically you would just have spawns that appear right after a person dies, where the other team has to wait the deploy time. So yeah, that's basically the reason.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, whether or not that's a good idea, that's something we're discussing, but it stays in, at least for now.
There's
it's something that we actually put into to minimize the new players might not have played the game at that time, but before we had it, it was more a question of sometimes you had matches that were like 15 versus 3, and they just that's just not fun. So it's something we put into to limit the imbalance of or the difference of players on each side. And obviously, it's not fun to be on the overpopulated side because you have to wait some more. But I think we waited that was better than the underpopulated side just getting kicked the asses all the time. So it's like it's a trade-off, not a like super perfect solution.
Yeah. And also with the faction imbalance, as you could see in the graph before, if there are 200 players more online on one faction, then obviously they are going to have to wait more in the matchmaker. And we figured maybe if we tried to overpopulate one faction in the action game, they would get into a game, they would have to wait a bit longer, but at least not sit and stare at a blank screen. So that's a different aspect. Yeah.
I had another one. I think we answered that one before, but just in case, Sethanen Iron is asking, Any plans to allow us to see our character screen while we're in a squad? Because it's annoying not being able to do anything and having to sit and wait for everyone to be ready.
Oh, Henrik is going nuts. Yeah. Well, the reason we disabled the character screen while you're in a squad is basically because we didn't want people to unequip and equip stuff while they're in the matchmaker. Because that would mean that when we spawn the action game, you would suddenly have a character without a weapon equipped. Then we talked about maybe if we just made it like read only, so you can like see what weapons you have equipped and see your characters. But we weighed that it would take longer to disable all the controls than to just push that out. So it's we've thought about it, and we would like to get away from the locked in screen that you have right now. But it's a question of having the time to actually do it.
I think we answered that question before, and it is a possibility. It is because there's so many things that can go wrong if you you click all the buttons while you're in the matchmaker.
Yeah. Question from Excite. Do you plan to add separate mouse sensitivity sliders for infantry, tanks, and aircraft? That's not a bad question.
I didn't know there was a need for that, but
you just made one.
Yeah.
It could be fun because I mean when you're flying a plane, I don't know, maybe it's personal, but maybe the relative, the feel of turning around is not the same when you're turning a torso and flying around.
Actually, I have one of those fancy mouse where you can press on a button and it lowers or heightens the DPI. But yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe we could add it to the list of stuff to put in the control scheme that we talked about before.
More stuff to go into the menus.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Zerius is asking, can you add a menu into the game where we can review our last matches? I mean, all the scoreboards of the last matches, so we can add players from there and see our progress, and maybe review the demos of each matches. So
wow,
we can.
Yeah.
That's a huge.
Yeah. Well, we have the good thing is we moved the battle reports to the flash screen, so you can actually see the battle reports in the actual strategy client or the front. We are saving those battle reports, and we're saving them for a limited amount of time, and we have talked about putting them in so you can revisit them afterwards. I think it might be somewhere in the pipeline. I'm not going to promise anything, but yeah, we wait and see. It might come sooner than later. Shit.
There's somebody asking, well, I think we've answered that before. Diatsa is asking, is it possible to introduce a training mission like First Blood where you can train flying planes?
Yeah.
Obviously, it is possible, but time-wise, I think, again, we are prioritizing other stuff.
It's true that I'm getting a lot of reports of players saying, this guy is sabotaging our planes, he's crashing all of them on purpose. I'm like, sometimes it's just a new guy. No, it's just new guys, they don't know how to fly.
Do we have planes only training missions?
Nope.
No.
We should actually do some of those, just to have a pure dogfighting.
And no ground. You can fly in all directions.
The level without the landscape.
Yeah.
That would be easy to make.
But that map would take ages to make, right?
I don't think World Machine can handle zeros, so...
Oh, shit.
Wait a minute. There's a question from, I think, Pistachion is asking, does resupplying at a supply box save your custom ammo or grenades so you have to buy and restock them less often?
I think no. It's the grenades you actually use in the action game that counts towards the expended ammo, and yeah,
that's true.
So if you pick up grenades from a crate,
they don't count.
They count. Yeah, they do count.
They do count.
Yeah, they do count. it's when you use them that they get deducted. It's not when you equip them. So yeah.
Oh, and Robotron just told me regarding the previous question that Westwick, the same community member who is who did the screenshots contest, is working on a guide for pilots. So that's apparently coming next week.
Awesome.
And so yeah, keep an eye on the forums. Look for Westwick's guide for pilots, I guess, or flying guide.
You can show them the guide before you start.
Back to the grenades. I just want to make sure, because I'm not even sure I get it. When I go and I spend some grenades, so that's deducted from my total. I go and resupply from a supply box.
Yeah.
That is not added back to my inventory.
No.
So if I use those that I got from the supply box,
they are used from your inventory.
So you basically you're just charged for all the grenades you use, basically.
Yeah.
But I guess that makes sense.
Also, if you pick up ammo for your modified rifle, it's not stock ammo. It's your specialized modified ammo, which makes sense.
Yeah, because it's not like the box in the game itself. It doesn't contain any specific ammo. It contains what you want.
We put grenades. It's little grenade models in it that it takes out every time.
If you zoom in,
zoom in close enough, you might find it.
They're hidden somewhere.
Too complicated if we had to do all the different types of ammunition and weapons and stuff.
Like the chest in the new skirmish map that has special things in it as well.
The chest. That's true. The chest.
Yeah.
If you hit it hard enough.
For long enough.
Try and jump on it.
Yeah.
That's what Mario does. Zelda, whatever the chest stuff comes from.
Yeah.
We are being told that we should wear watches.
Oh. Okay.
I guess. Wait, I just want to make because I always feel like it's not cool for the guys who put in a nice question at the end, and but those questions are all fairly common. A lot of your questions you'll find the answer in some of the previous streams, but let me see that.
And just take a common question.
Yeah.
Let's end with a common one.
Yeah, maybe. Can we play with gamepads? Asks Adrix133. I think he means joysticks or gamepads, like actual console gamepads.
At some point we had support for that. I don't know if it still works. I haven't seen anybody use it for quite a while, but it isn't a general USB thing. You just connect it and then.
There was a mail that went around in our internal mailboxes that was actually a question from Leto, who's doing the control input and action game stuff. Who asked how games usually do that stuff. So it might be somewhere in the beginnings of the pipeline, and we had support for it. Maybe it might be being worked on. Maybe it's coming back.
I think I think that probably especially for the pilots have been requesting joystick support and that for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, just want to put in some misinformation on the chat. That's the bell that's ringing, and what it means, of course, is that dragons are coming.
Shit.
We will quickly go down to the dragon shelter. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitch, there's a button for that. I'll let you find it. You can also, if you've just walked in and you're wondering what we've been talking about, we have talked about the limited supply, what we've been changing on the campaign map. We've talked about the graphs that we use to measure what's going on our servers. We've talked about, and I forgot something very important, sorry, that next week it's Veterans Day in the US, and it's also known as Remembrance Day in the British Commonwealth, meaning Canada and Australia and all those places. And during that day, we basically the English-speaking world is remembering the end of World War I. It's also a remembrance of war veterans. So during that day, we're giving everybody 24-hour free veteran membership. and it starts at 11 a.m. on November 11th. That's next week. What day is it? Is it Monday?
It's Wednesday, isn't it? Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday?
No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday next week, the 11th.
Yeah.
So for Remembrance Day, everybody gets 24-hour free veteran membership. So this being said, wait, what? That's just before we leave. What? Robotron is being cryptic here.
Yeah, that's a pretty generic sentence.
Yes. Context, please. I'm waiting. Okay, if I don't get context for that in 2 seconds, we're gonna. Yeah, that's okay. So, I guess that's fine. Never mind. So yeah, if you want to watch the stream, you can find it on YouTube. We're gonna put it on YouTube later. And we will wish you a pleasant weekend. See you next week on the 14th.
Bye bye.